Hi, I'm Jim Berggren, pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Houston, Texas, and this is a sermon for Sunday, Pentecost season number 6 in the C series. Sisters, both and. Well, there you are, beautiful people of God, waiting for the preacher to say the same old schlock you've heard about Mary and Martha for at least 50 times. Martha's bad, Mary's good. This week I read many sermons preached over the last 100 years. All I can say is, poor Martha. She has been called an obsessive-compulsive victim of multitasking, a workaholic, inconsiderate, abusive sister, a hysterical harridan with the unmitigated audacity to scold Jesus, a bossy, fussy, controlling micromanager, a hard competitor in sibling rivalry, and a genius of the domestic arts, but a spiritual midget compared to Mary. We're given a false choice. You can either identify with the groupie or grumpy. Preach against grumpy, and you'll never again be invited to someone's home for dinner. And no clergy in their right mind will preach against groupie and imply that worshiping the Lord's not a good thing. Viewed from this preaching angle, the choices beg a serious question. Which is the best form of works righteousness? Service or adoration? So let's put this business to rest with a little poll. Preparing food involves organization, a plan, ingredients, creativity, timing, anticipation, the redolent fragrances produced by the heat, anxiety in the process, hoping it turns out right, and the fulfilling contentment when a successful meal emerges from your mind, from your hands. How many of you enjoy the process of preparing food? Let's see your hands. Okay, wonderful. A lot of votes for the joys of the culinary arts. Second question, only for those of you who voted on the last question, how many of you want to have other people underfoot in your kitchen, distracting you while you're engaged in cooking? There you go. I believe we have just settled the bad sister, good sister line of thinking about this text. If I'm in the kitchen rustling up something to eat, you will have a much better day by worshiping the Lord in the other room. From your own experience, it is clear that the notion of Mary wanting Martha to help in the kitchen is a straw dog. There's no way Martha wants Mary anywhere in the kitchen. When I'm in the kitchen rustling up grub, I don't care if you're a cross between Martha Stewart, Julia Child, and Paula Deen. Stay out of my way. I'm whipping up a 4-course meal of Spam, yams, butter beans, and mac and cheese. I'm real anxious about it coming out right. Add some more garlic here. A dab of habanero powder on the mac and cheese just to give it a little kick. Why is Martha trying to get Mary out of the dining room? A lot of reasons come to mind. I am of the inclination to take all the stories of Mary, Martha, Lazarus, and Jesus in Luke and John and jam them together in a time period, maybe even a month prior to the crucifixion of Jesus in Jerusalem. Luke already has him traveling toward Jerusalem. John 11 bumps his itinerary forward in time so that he's there at the raising of Lazarus. Subsequently, he and his disciples are guests at the Martha household. There's today's meal in Luke 10, which could possibly be the same meal which at its conclusion, a week before Passover, Mary anoints the feet of Jesus with nard, a further extension of that adoration. Assuming these things, The Martha household would be under surveillance. Raising Lazarus from the dead was not just a little thing. It's a political act. Martha's concerned. Her dialogue with Jesus prior to the raising of Lazarus is about her belief in the resurrection of the dead, which is a cherished belief of the Pharisee school of theology. And now the Pharisees seem to oppose Jesus. At least some of them. Many faith assumptions and social conventions are being challenged here. Martha's anxious. I don't blame her. Out of sisterly love, Martha comes to Jesus on behalf of Mary to save her reputation. And Jesus's also. She is very aware of the family social standing, particularly with that controversy swirling around the raising of Lazarus. For one thing, is she in charge or not? Martha doesn't want to embarrass her beloved friend, Jesus, by pointing out to him the damage being done in public to her sister's reputation. Jesus seems to be aiding and abetting in a status reduction of the family by allowing Mary to be in the room with him as a disciple at a formal dinner. You see, during the time of Jesus, the first century rabbi Eliezer had written, "If a man gives his daughter knowledge of the law, it is as though he has taught her lechery." What? And he also wrote, "Better to burn the Torah than to teach it to women." Chores are just a foil to get Mary out of this compromising situation, save her reputation. Martha would protect Mary and Jesus and take personal responsibility for the status reduction incidents that she's already committed. She's already done so-called bad things for the family. Because you see, where masculine and feminine roles are traditionally set in concrete, it is the job of the eldest male to welcome guests into the household. It is pointed out in the text that Martha did this. We can safely assume she's the eldest sister. We can expect that maybe Lazarus is not available. He might be either deathly ill or recovering from deadness. Oh, it's a busy time, full of rocketing emotions, just perfect for hosting 12 disciples and Jesus and the whole family, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. Passover is almost here. She has 16 tired, dirty, hungry people in her house. All of them have files on them at the Sanhedrin Department of Justice. Anxious? Huh, you bet. What if a civil war breaks out in my living room? Anxiety can twist us into knots. At seminary, I lived on the 3rd floor of the Chicago brownstone. My downstairs neighbor was always seething with worry. He got straight A's all the time, but was as nervous as a Q in an alphabet stampede. Always clomping up the stairs and banging on my door. Music's too loud. Your theological arguments go too late at night. Could you please walk more softly or wear thicker socks? Please take down the tiny wind chime in the south window, which I put there to let me know of the first south wind in the springtime, an important piece of information in Chicago. Quit sneezing, he said. I figured the Lord had a special reason for me to suffer. And one day he saw me bring my new waterbed mattress up the stairs. The old one had a leak, and so I got rid of it. Caused no damage at all. I'd always had it. He didn't know. He demanded, "How are you going to fill that? And what will keep it from falling into my apartment? How much does it weigh?" I said, "It won't fall. I'm on the maintenance crew. I know the engineering tolerances of the walls of this building. The bed is on 2 supporting walls." "How much does it weigh?" he screamed. I replied, "Only 1.25 tons." The poor guy is almost foaming at the mouth. This apparently to him is a lot. I tried to explain with simple math. The bed is 6 feet by 7 feet, and it's not even a foot deep all around. It covers 42 cubic feet of water over 6,048 square inches. If it were a foot deep all over, 42 cubic feet would weigh 2,622 pounds. It's about 2¼ pounds per square inch. Your wife is 180 pounds. The area of her high heel spikes alone is 90 pounds per square inch. Gee, I hope she doesn't fall through to the first floor. Maybe he figured that the Lord had a special reason for him to suffer too. But last I heard, he was a pastoral care supervisor for a fancy counseling center. Maybe I helped him to learn trust in the Lord, be less anxious, and understand the creation is a wonderful place. The pressures faced by Martha, Mary, Lazarus, and Jesus, they were incomprehensible. They were political. There was social status diminishment, judicial prejudice, and a holiday season with attendant hospitality obligations. Of course, fatigue, and through it all, the need to give love and honor and service to Jesus, the Lord of life. The contrast in our text is not between doing and listening, or OCD versus ADD. Service and worship are two sides of the same coin. Anxiety constricts us from using this coin of living in the best possible way. Receiving and giving, praying and working are alternate chords in the music of life. We are, with our trust, to be both transmitters and receivers of the gospel good news. We each of us have the two sisters in us, service and adoration. Amen.